Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started now. Welcome to class. Today is April 6th, 2023. And today we're going to be teaching our first class on PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. This is one of my favorite tools to use when I'm out in the business world and doing different things. All of us have seen a Microsoft PowerPoint at some point, I'm sure, maybe at church, maybe at school. It's a very, very important piece of software that we use quite often. It'll help you if you do presentations or if you're in any type of a teaching role. I think that you'll really enjoy it. So yeah, just to officially get started here, just as PowerPoint is a program that makes slideshow presentations. A slideshow is a presentation you make with pictures and words to show, describe, or explain something to a group. For example, this slideshow here that I'm displaying is about elephants. If I'm presenting about elephants, people can look at the pictures and the words while I'm talking. So I'm sure that we've all seen PowerPoint. If we were to go into presentation mode, this slide right here would take up the entire kind of the area here, this entire slide, but I won't do that for these purposes. But as you can see over here, I can just click on slide 2 and it goes to the next slide. Here's slide 3, slide 4. Normally, each one of these starts with a title slide, and then you go a little bit more into the detail. And normally, when you're doing slideshows, you don't give a lot of information. Notice that there's no paragraphs or sentences on the slides. It's very much PowerPoint etiquette to just have bullet points, kind of talking points per se, for you to talk about as the presenter and as people are looking at your slides, but you're really explaining it with your words as you're presenting, right? So again, here we see a couple different of kind of talking points, right? So I'll go ahead and get started. Just a quick intro today to PowerPoint. Some things that we're going to learn today is we're going to learn how to start a new presentation. We're going to figure out how to select a theme, and that's kind of your color scheme. It makes it a little bit more interesting to see a PowerPoint if it has a theme. We're also going to work on how do you insert a new slide. We're also going to work on creating a layout. So each, like for instance, on this slide here, this is kind of a title slide layout, not a lot of information, bold print. And then this one has a different layout. As you can see, 2 pictures and then some text over on the right. This one has a different layout, some pictures at the top, text at the bottom. So we'll talk about how to come up with those different layouts. Having different layouts gives you, again, a little bit more creative, room to express your statements and how you want to share it. So it's also a little bit more interesting for the people that are watching and viewing as they're not seeing the same slide with the same format every single time. And then finally, we're going to talk about recognizing the different parts of the PowerPoint screen, including the slide pane. This is the slide pane right here. This is where the main slide can be edited. Over here on the left, you have all the slides. This particular slideshow, as you can see down here, has 10 slides. So we're on slide 1 of 2 because that's the one that's highlighted. If I click this one, you can see now it says I want slide 6 of 10. So this is the slide sorter. You can actually grab slides here, just left click and hold, and you can change the order. So I can move this slide around in the presentation. I want to move it back to where it originally started. So this is the slide navigation pane over here. This is the slide pane. And then finally, just like all the other Microsoft Office tools that we've been training on, up here at the top is the ribbon. So as you click each one of these tabs, you get a completely different ribbon. You get the insert. You have lots of different things you can insert, word art, text boxes, header and footer, some pictures. You can draw from the drawing menu here. This is your ribbon. You have things like highlighting or circling or pencil erasing. You have design. This is where you can choose your theme. So in each one of these tabs, you do have various options within the ribbon that falls under each tab. Okay. So let's say, for example, in my presentation, this one's about elephants. The first slide is our title slide again. The second slide here is about their appearance. And then finally, the third slide is about where elephants live, right? So I've already finished this presentation about elephants. Today, I want to go ahead and take a little bit of time and talk about how to create a new presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. And again, to close out a PowerPoint presentation, Excel, whatever it is, anytime you're working in any Microsoft program, you can always close it out by using this red button in the top right. Notice that when I put my red button there, it says close, so I can click that. And if it's saved, it's going to go ahead and just close it out. You won't even have to tell it to save again. And then this takes you back to your desktop. And as you can see, I have several different things going on here on my desktop. If I wanted to open any of these things, of course, I could just double click it. Like let's say I wanted to open up my son's chore chart. This is his chore chart right here. It's just a Word document. So I'm just going to close that again. So again, just to open up things from the desktop, you just double click, and that's a double left click. Here's another PowerPoint that I did for my mother. She had her birthday not too long ago, 75th, and I put together a nice PowerPoint for her. And this one was just photos of the family going way back, all kinds of different photos, her with her grandkids and so forth. Just a lot of fun stuff. And this one had 193 slides, right? So a lot of fun putting this together. And this just rolled throughout her 75th birthday party. These slides just continued to roll all throughout, and it was a whole lot of fun, and she really enjoyed that. So that's just another example of PowerPoint. So I'm going to close that out. And now we're going to go and look at how do you open up a new one. So for most of us, if you have a PC, you're going to just go to your start menu down here in the bottom left, and you probably will see an icon for PowerPoint. It'll look like this one here. It's orange, it's got the P in it, and it says PowerPoint. If you do not see it there, you can always go to your search right here and type in PowerPoint. And you can click open right there. The other option is you can just use the search bar down here. If you have one in your menu here at the bottom, you can also just type in PowerPoint there, and you can click open from there. Okay, so let's orient you to the screen here. So right now it's showing all the recent PowerPoints that I have opened. So this is one of the good things about Microsoft is it'll always keep track of all of the last PowerPoints that you've opened. So sometimes you don't remember where you saved it at. You don't have to, because you can just come here to recent, and you can go down and say, oh yeah, I opened that a month ago or 2 months ago. Here it is. You click it and you go on about your way. But for now, we're going to go ahead and open up a blank presentation. So I'm just going to click blank presentation one time, and it's going to open up a brand new blank presentation. Notice that it's just a white background. There's no colors, there's no themes. And we also have two text boxes here. We have one that says click to add title, and the other text box down here says click to add subtitle. Notice that the one for the title is much bigger font. This one here is a little bit of a smaller font. So this is going to be our empty white background. This is always how it's going to start. And we'll eventually get to adding a theme to give it a little bit more color, makes it a little bit more interesting for the folks that are watching our presentation to be able to enjoy. So to do that, we're going to go to design. So up here, you have the home tab where you always start. But on the design tab, let's go ahead and click that. Right here, notice there's a lot of themes. So you can see right here, it says themes. These are all different themes. So right now we're on this theme. But if I move my mouse over this theme, this one's called office theme. If I move my mouse over the next one, it's called facet. So the name of this one is facet. As you see, when I put my mouse over it, just below my mouse, the little dialog box pops up and it says facet. And as I hold my mouse over this, it just is giving me a preview of what that would look like. I'm going to move over to the next one. This one's called gallery. This one is called integral. And there's lots of different versions, right? So you can see as I move along, there's lots of different options here as different themes. I'm going to go ahead and click the down arrow, and I'm just going to kind of scroll around and see which one I like. And for today, I really like this one. Okay, so I'm going to go with that theme. So I just clicked it, and it automatically put a theme on my entire slide now. So it's not just the white. Now we have much more diverse background, and I'm going to be able to add in my information here, and you'll see how it looks as we continue along here. So I've selected my theme. I went ahead and picked a theme, and now let's go ahead and add some text. So each slide has places where you can type. These are called text boxes. So again, this text box, and you have the subtitle text box. To type in a text box, you just click it. So here it says click to add title. So I'm going to just click one time. That's a left click. And in this, let's see, I'm going to type my name. In the subtitle text box, I'm going to type a presentation about me. Okay, very simple. Once you're done typing in that area, you can just kind of click off here to the side, and now our first slide is done. So it just says my name and then a presentation about me. Very simple stuff. So now we want to add our second slide because this is our title slide right here. So to add a slide, we want to go to home. And then here you see the icon and the ribbon. Again, this is the ribbon up here. So you have a lot of different options. So I want to select new slide, and it's going to give me options. It's going to say for your new slide, what kind of layout do you want to use? Do you want to use title slide like the one we just did? Do you want to do title and content? Do you want to have two content areas? Do you want to have a comparison? Like, what do you want to do, right? So I'm going to go ahead, and for these purposes, I'm going to go ahead and pick, let's see, title and content layout. This one right here. So there we go. So it gives me a new slide, right? Because this was slide one, so it gave me a new slide, and it's already pre-formatted in the layout of title, and then it's going to have some bullet points down here. Again, just like we talked about in the beginning, anytime we do a PowerPoint presentation, we don't necessarily need long sentences down here. We just want talking points that people can look at as I'm talking and describing and giving more detail, okay? All right, so now let's see. In the top one, I'm just going to put about me. Okay. And in the content box below here where the bullets are, I'm just going to click in there just one time. And I'm going to say, I am an analyst. And that's bullet one. I am an analyst. Sorry. You see, it gave me a little hint there like, hey, your English isn't great. I'm going to hit enter. It's going to give me another bullet. I am from Seattle, Washington. And as I hit enter one more time, again, if you're at the end of that line and you hit enter, it'll give you a new bullet. And then finally, I currently live in Florida. None of this is true, by the way. I'm just kind of making up stuff. Okay. So now again, I'm just going to click off to the side here. Notice, by the way, it's giving me a lot of different options over here. I'm not going to play with this designer right now. I'm actually going to just close that out. And again, if I click up here, now I've got my information. It says about me, and I'm an analyst. But notice that there's a lot of space open on this particular slide, which I don't like. So I'm going to actually make everything a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click this text box. Again, you can either select the actual words and then change the font up here, right? You can do it that way. Or you can actually just click the outside part of the text box when you get this black kind of a plus sign there. So you can click there, and then you can come up and you can also increase the font there. So I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm just going to click the outside box. It's selected, and I'm going to go ahead and increase that font. Because again, if I have a crowd of people and I only have 3 bullet points, I want it to take up a little bit of space. You could even maybe space out these ones a little bit like that, a little bit easier to read. I'm going to go back to our title slide and do the same thing. Let's increase font there a little bit. And we're going to increase the subtitle font also. Okay. And I'm even going to move this, right? How do you move it? You can just click the outside and hold down. and then you can move it around if you like. I'm going to move this one too. Let's see what we get. How about that? We're going to go with something like that. Okay. So I'll go back to slide 2 here. And again, this is the slide sorter. So again, if I click and hold, I can move this slide up. I can click and hold and move this slide back down. So again, this is your slide pane where you can move your slides back and forth. And then this is your working area, of course, where you work at. Okay. So for the next slide, I want to have 2 text boxes to write about my favorite foods and my drinks. This time, I will pick a slide with 2 text boxes. So instead of the one big text box, I want one over here and I want one over here. So let's go up to new slide. And here we see we have that option, 2 content. I'm going to click that. It gives me a new slide. And what do we have? We have 2 different boxes that are ready to receive bullet points. So I'm going to just click here again. And let's see, what is this slide about? This is my favorite foods and drinks. And I'm going to click here. And I'm going to put my favorite foods. And I just tab over. So again, after favorite foods, when I hit enter, it comes down. But that's kind of the title for this box. So if I hit the tab button on my keyboard, the tab button is just to the left of Q and kind of under the number 1. So if I hit tab, it moves over just a little bit. And now I'm going to add my favorite food. Let's go with a pizza. Let's go with a burger. And let's go with fried rice. Okay. And so I went ahead here and I've typed in all of my favorite foods. And then over here, I'm going to put my favorite drinks. And then again, once I get in favorite drinks, then I can go ahead and hit enter. And again, it's on the same line, but again, favorite drinks is kind of the title for this box. So I'm going to hit enter and then tab to move over. And my favorite drinks are going to be coffee, hot chocolate, and let's call it water. Let's go with that. So again, notice that as I click away, there's still a lot of space here, right? So let's go ahead and make both of these a little bit bigger. Let's just increase some fonts here. I'm just going to, again, click that outside box and then go up here and select increase. Okay, there we go. Just click away there, and there we go. And so now we have our 3 slides made. We have our title slide over here. It's got my name. It's got a presentation about me. Slide 2, I'm an analyst. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I currently live in Florida. And then lastly, here you can see that it's just shows my favorite foods and drinks. And I just went with pizza, a burger, and Thai fried rice. And then for favorite drinks, we have coffee, hot chocolate, and water. So let's move back over here to our slide pane where we can move around our slides. So again, let's say that slide 3, we actually wanted it to become slide 2. We can come over here to this left pane. We can left click slide 3, grab it, and we can move it up to make it slide 2, and vice versa. I can, if I want to make slide 2, slide 3, I can grab it and move it around. So this is the area where you can shuffle your slides around and get them in order. If you had a lot of slides, you could come down here to the bottom. And if you put your mouse over this little square down here in the bottom right, it says slide sorter. If you had a lot of slides, maybe 100 slides or 20 or 30 slides, you can also come here and kind of shuffle them around and get them in the order that you want, okay? So I'm gonna make slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. I'm gonna go back to, let's see. Let's go back to our normal view. And now we're back at the view that we are all used to seeing, where we have our slide sorter on the left. We have our presentation area here. And this is, essentially how to create your basic PowerPoint slides. If you ever want to go into presentation mode, you can always just click this button down here. It says slideshow. And so if I click that button, I'm going to go ahead and click it now. Let's see what happens. So this is the view of the presenter. Okay. So right now the presenter can see what's the next slide. And I can also see that this is what my audience would see. Also, as a presenter, if I clicked this laser pen right here, I could do this. And again, only the things on this screen here is what my audience is going to see. This over here is actually just for me as the presenter, so I know what the next slide is. So as I click, I get my next slide, but now see over here, now I can see this slide 3 is kind of in the queue. This is the next one as I continue to talk about slide 2. And then if I hit next slide one more time, now I have my 3rd slide. I can use my laser pen there to highlight different things on the screen. And then, of course, over here, you can see that there's no more slides. So if I hit next slide, then, of course, the audience would see a blank slide. And then from there, we exit back out to our design mode. So again, a couple different ways to start your presentation is you can click slideshow here, or you can go up to the slideshow in the menu, and you can always hit start your slideshow from beginning, or you can hit start from current slide. So if you were on slide 3 and you hit this, it's going to start the presentation in slide 3. If you hit start from beginning, it's going to start from the beginning. So I'm actually going to just do one quick thing. I am going to set up my slideshow because I actually want the presentation on this screen. So slideshow monitor, let's do that one. And hit don't use presenter view. Let's see what happens now. Oh, let's do setup slideshow and do primary. Okay. Okay, there we go. So see what happened now when I went into presentation mode. So this is what the audience would see. And then that would be slide 2 and slide 3. And then lastly, when you get to the last slide, it's always going to be a blank, just nothing. So this is typically where a speaker would wrap up, do their closing spiel, and leave it here. And they may even turn off the projector here. Typically, they won't hit one more button because when you hit it one more time, it actually goes back into the design mode. And most presenters don't really want to do that. They just rather leave it on the blank screen and close down the slideshow from there. So with that, are there any questions? That's our basic intro to slideshows. So what did we talk about today? We just talked about creating your slides. We talked about designing the layout, having different layouts up here. And again, this is under the home menu, and you can always click layout, and you can choose, do you want to content? Do you want a title slide? Do you want photos in there? What are you looking to do? And the same thing happens, right? So let's say I wanted to add one more slide right now. I could go to new slide and I could select to content, and it gives me a new slide where I have 2 different text boxes. These are text boxes where I can add data, right? Add some data, hit enter. Every time I hit enter, I get a new bullet. Come over here to this one. Every time I hit enter, I get a new bullet. Come up here and add the title for that one. And then we're off to the races. And again, if you want to increase your font, you can always click here, increase the font, click here, increase the font, etc. So I'm going to actually delete this slide. So to delete a slide, over here in the slide sorter on the left, you can right click that slide and hit delete. So again, this is our ribbon up here in the top, just like all the other Microsoft programs we've been learning. The ribbon is always up top. It has all the icons in it. This is our slide sorter, and this is our slide pane where we design it all at. Any questions from anybody today? All right, sounds good. I am going to go ahead and move this over. And let's just have a quick little review. If you guys can help me, that would be great. So here it says making a presentation, use the vocabulary words to label the PowerPoint. So we have 3 vocabulary words. We have slide pane right here. We have slide navigation pane, and we have ribbon. So what is this area right here in the middle where we do all the design? Is that the ribbon? Is that the slide navigation pane or the slide pane? Anybody? What's this big area, the big white area? Ribbon, slide navigation pane, or slide pane? Okay, so this area right here in the middle, this is the slide pane. Over here on the left, as we're looking at a PowerPoint slide, this area here on the left is going to be the slide navigation pane. So let me actually see if I can add that text in here. Let's go to comment and text. So this would be the ribbon. This would be the slide navigation pane. And then down here, this would be the slide pane. So that's kind of the 3 parts of your PowerPoint area. You have the slide pane, which is the main area that you're working in, your slide navigation pane, where you can sort your different slides. And then finally, the ribbon, which is where all the icons are for all the different actions that you can take. Last thing, as we wrap up, let's fill in the blanks using the vocabulary words below. So a blank is a presentation made of many slides. What's the answer here? Is it a theme? A text? What is it? A slideshow. Slideshow. Thank you, Lucy. To add words to a slide, you type in a what? A theme, a text box, or a slide?
Text box.
You got it. A slideshow is made of many. Which one of these? Themes, slideshows, slides. A slideshow is made of many
Slides.
Many slides. Yep. And then finally, a blank is a style for the slideshow.
Theme.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. So that is our class for today. You guys did very well. It's a really basic intro to PowerPoint. I'm going to actually go ahead and stop the recording here really quick. Let's see. Okay.